What's up guys, my name is Ace, and today we're going to be breaking down this week's aftermarket part in Modern Warfare 3, and this is the JAK Scimitar kit for the FJX Horus. And with this kit, while it doesn't totally convert the fire mode, it's still a full auto gun, it will be reducing our rate of fire by 16%. So our new rate of fire is 822 rounds per minute. And since all of our damage values are the same, this means our time to kill potential is going to be harmed, so up close we're killing in 292 milliseconds, and at a distance that will increase up to 438 milliseconds. Now don't let that scare you away though, there are a lot of upsides that come with this sacrifice. So next, let's have a look at our range comparison, and as we can see here, we have a significantly longer 5-shot kill potential compared to the base FJX Horus. So that's one of the big upsides right there. Even though we're killing slower right up close and personal, we see a lot more consistency where we carry that time to kill potential out to a longer range. On top of that, you can see our bullet velocity is very nicely improved at 648 meters per second. That's very impressive for an SMG, much more along the lines of what you'd expect with an assault rifle. And then also, for you hardcore players out there, I just wanted to show you the comparison here. We do get a one-shot kill to the torso and arms at least within that maximum damage range, and that range is effectively doubled with this kit. So far it seems like a reasonably balanced trade-off here. You are sacrificing in rate of fire and time to kill, but you are gaining noticeably in the range department. However, on its own, I wouldn't say that's quite enough to make this kit worthwhile, so let's get into the next big change that comes with this kit, and this is to our recoil. As we can see here, we have very little recoil with this kit compared to the base FJX Horus. With this, there's no more crazy bounciness side to side all over the place, and while it's still not going to be the most accurate gun out there, and you will see a little bit of a zigzag after a few shots fired, this is so much easier to control and predict compared to the base FJX Horus, and you really don't need to stack heavy with additional attachments geared toward recoil just to make this viable at mid-ranges. So that, combined with the range improvements, is really starting to look good for the FJX Horus beyond super close quarters situations. Next, let's get into our handling stats, and since we get a 60 round magazine with this, it is going to be harming some of our handling stats a bit. So our aim down sight time is now 212 milliseconds with this kit, whereas without the kit, it's 170 milliseconds. So a noticeable increase, but honestly still a great aim down sight time. There's really nothing wrong with 212 milliseconds. And it's a similar story with our sprint to fire time. We definitely have a noticeable increase here at 160 milliseconds, whereas the base FJX Horus is just 93 milliseconds. But at 160 milliseconds, that's not terrible. If we're looking at this through the lens of it being an assault rifle SMG hybrid, which is essentially how it's performing when we look at the power of this gun, then this sprint out time is still pretty solid, and I wouldn't say it should be causing you too many issues. Next, something I was a little surprised to see here is our reload ad time is still quite fast at just 1.19 seconds. You would think with that very noticeably larger magazine that you get with this kit at 60 rounds, that would also slow down our reload time, because that's typically what you would see, but that's just not the case. This is almost exactly the same as our base reload time on the FJX Horus. And then finally, let's have a look at the last important stats that are changed with this kit, and this is to our mobility stats. And when it comes to our base movement speed and sprint movement speed, they are noticeably slowed down, and they're much more along the lines of what you'd expect to see out of an assault rifle. So not amazing for an SMG. However, with our aim walking speed, while it's a bit on the slower side for SMGs now, this is still very noticeably better than assault rifles. So you still maintain benefits there, even though this isn't quite as fast as the base FJX Horus. And there we go, that's going to wrap it up for all of the important stat changes that come with this kit. And before I share my opinions on this, let's dive into a couple class setups that I threw together for you guys while using the JAK Scimitar kit. And the first one I've got for you guys is just my all-around balanced build while using this new kit. And with this one, we're using the Shadow Strike Suppressor, mainly because we don't really need to focus on recoil that much, so we may as well stay off the radar. We have the DR6 hand stop for the underbarrel, the Ripper light stock, and the LUL 9M grip, combined with, of course, the kit itself. And that reminds me, something I didn't mention yet is I find the iron sights to be excellent with this kit. I really don't think you need an optic at all. Of course, if you want to use an optic, go for it, but it's not necessary, and I love these iron sights. But with this particular setup, you can see the recoil is very manageable. While it's not quite as good as the base kit recoil if we're not using any of these other attachments to help with handling, it's still perfectly manageable for the ranges that you should be trying to keep yourself within, and it's still significantly better than what you would see if you were just using the base FJX Horus without this kit. And with this, our aim down sight speed is noticeably improved over the base kit, although still a little worse than the base FJX Horus at 192 milliseconds. It's the same thing with our sprint out time. It's better than the kit by itself, but still not as good as the base version of this gun at 148 milliseconds. Honestly, that really shouldn't cause you any problems at all. Our range value with the kit itself is increased by 36%, and our bullet velocity is incredible for an SMG at 648 meters per second. So that's the first one, and just an excellent all-arounder. It's honestly my favorite way to use the FJX Horus now. I just love the versatility that this setup provides. But after that one, I did also want to share a tac stance build. And the reason behind that is this handles really well in tac stance, plus you get that increased magazine, which I often like having with a tac stance build since you're going to be spraying and praying a little bit and burning through magazines quite quickly. And with this one, we're using the S37C DL Breacher device, the Brun Bastion Angle Grip, the Schlager ULO 66 laser, which is a non-visible laser by the way, and then finally we have the Ripper light stock combined with the JAK Scimitar kit itself. And with this one, we get a very solid tac stance spread at 1.2 degrees. Our hipfire is also very nicely improved with this setup, and it's very impressive. You don't even need to get into tac stance in many situations. Unfortunately, our aim down sight speed is kind of destroyed when using these attachments, but that's fine because, like I said, you can just hipfire a lot. Plus, when you're going into tac stance, you don't take that full aim down sight time to get to tac stance. Also, with our sprint out time, this is 155 milliseconds, which isn't amazing, but it's also not terrible. It's totally manageable. And then, of course, we still get that massive range and bullet velocity benefit from the kit itself, combined with that 60-round magazine. And when it comes to this one, I do want to mention the base FJX Horus really excels with tac stance. You don't need this kit for a solid tac stance build on the Horus, and technically you'll be killing even faster up close because you have that faster rate of fire. But I've got to say, tac stance also feels great on this kit because, while you do have a slower time to kill potential, you also get that very noticeably boosted range, so you can make sure the vast majority of your gunfights fall within the maximum damage range, which is more difficult to do with the base FJX Horus. And then on top of that, even though you're in tac stance, the recoil benefits are still very noticeable when using this kit. So I find with the kit tac stance setup, I'm far more consistent beyond that 10-meter range compared to the base FJX Horus, which really excels within that 10-meter range. So I wouldn't say this setup completely invalidates my base FJX Horus tac stance build. It's just another option for you that you may want to consider. And with that, that's pretty much it. That is going to wrap it up for the breakdown and a couple excellent classes to use with this brand new aftermarket part. As for my thoughts on this kit, I really like it, and I do consider it to be quite powerful in this game. Now, I wouldn't say it's quite as powerful and dominant as that BP50 SMG kit was when that first came out. That one was a little too crazy because it also gave us a ridiculous time to kill potential. In this case, I think there are some balanced trade-offs here where you're not going to be killing quite as fast up close as the base FJX Horus, and also you're going to be killing noticeably slower than most of the other SMGs, but you're going to be killing a bit faster than most of the assault rifles, while maintaining many SMG-like benefits, and you get that 60-round magazine. So I think this kit is just excellent for massively improving versatility on the FJX Horus, while sacrificing a bit in the power potential up close. Now, of course, these are just my thoughts, and I'd love to hear what you guys think about this kit so far in those comments down below. Are you guys enjoying this new kit? Do you think it's too powerful, not powerful enough? Just let me know down below. If you enjoyed the video, a like rating is always appreciated, and don't forget to subscribe for more if you haven't already. I'll talk to you guys next time.